Alright guys, good morning. This is Pilot Steve and I'm in Prague this morning, getting ready to be picked up and driven over to the JMB factory to look at the VL3. And as I explained in my other video, these videos are a little bit different. No actual flying of my plane anyhow. Just doing a test flight of the VL3. I like it. I'm going to order one and see how fast I can get it. And I think I will like it as long as I can hop up in it and get out. That's the main criteria. But I'm in beautiful Prague. It's a beautiful city on a beautiful day. So it's going to be a great day for a flight. And you can see the city here is just waking up. And Adam is going to pick me up this morning, and just so happens that we're staying right above the Brettling store. How appropriate. So quite a little street here, Brettling and Gucci and Versace, all the high-end places, but we got the aviation watches here at Brettling. And so just waiting for him to pick me up. We'll start the adventure and I'm going to take you guys along with me. So see you in the next video. Alright guys, I'm here with Adam. Give me a nice drive from
hello everybody.
From Prague to the factory here at JMB. We're going to take a look at the VL3. Ready?
Let's go.
Well, we made it to the JMB headquarters. They're located in two different buildings. One is more like an administration building, and the second building is for production. And we're in the conference room. You can see the pretty pictures of the airplanes on the wall, their logo. And then we continue on the outside, and don't let looks have anything to do with it here, but as you can see, the building on the inside is very modern, very nice. And this is the finishing room where the fiberglass comes out of the molds, and they use mostly women to sand and polish the fiberglass. They say they have a better feel for it. So we'll continue on and go into the production facility, and I'll take you on a quick tour of that, which is really enlightening. Shows you what goes on to manufacture these airplanes. And we're entering the area here where you can start to see the parts and pieces that it takes to put together these airplanes. As we walk through and find them in various states, talk to different people here, we'll show you some of the detail work that goes into these things. And as you can see, there's quite a few molds ready to get started down the production line. And they go down this line, and as they come down, I'm sure each phase is put together. Meeting some of the guys here at the factory. Now we're moving down the line, looking at the aircraft in various stages of assembly. Not sure when the paint actually gets done. Looks like it gets done pretty early. And then they put the halves together, or the pieces together, and the wings. So by the time they're in this part of the shop, they're pretty much together. And I was talking to their designer about what color to do my airplane in. I've opted for the they call it a semi-custom paint job, where you can pick your colors and designs but it's not guaranteed and exclusive, which is good enough for me. And I like the orange and the yellow. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick, but I like it with the checkerboard pattern that they use. But I was asking the designer about black instead of the gray, and they don't like to use a lot of black because it heats up the fiberglass in the sun and it's not good for it. So, but they will do some black, and that's the example they were showing me there. And you saw on the side of the airplane was a little paperwork, and that's what is going in the airplane. Each one up on the left front has a parts list. There it is right there, stickered onto it. And I guess as it moves down the line, it is assembled to those specs. And you can see how beautiful the paint is already before it's even buffed out real good and that kind of thing. So I don't know what color I'm gonna pick. I really like the orange, but I really like the yellow also. So I got a ways to go before we pick a color though. So as we move down further, you can see the holes are more and more assembled, and starting to get interiors and panels and wiring, all the things that need to be in there, well before the plane is closed up. And one interesting thing, we got into a discussion down here a little further about the gear system, because I haven't flown a retractable gear plane since my Bonanza about, it's going on 20 years ago now. And the Bonanza had an old mechanical warning system that sometimes worked if you didn't put the gear down. And I was just curious how the newer avionics, like the Garmin GT3X Touch especially, reacts when you get low and slow and don't put the gear down. I want it doing something. And sure enough, apparently that there's several warnings built into the avionics about altitude above ground and speeds, and they say as soon as you deploy any flaps whatsoever, if the gear's not down, everything starts screaming. And they say that you're always going to land with flaps, so that's a pretty good protection system. And also the gear system is really nice. It's electrohydraulic. It has hydraulic fluid that's pumped by electric pump to push the gear down. And in the event that the pump goes out, as long as there's hydraulic fluid, there's an inside manual pump handle for emergency gear extension. And worst case, if you put the gear down, it will come down somewhat without hydraulics. And it's a kind of a really unique gear design from what I'm used to anyhow. It's kind of like a U-shaped, upside down U-shaped gear, so that once the gear deploys, as soon as the plane puts weight on it, it's going to engage. It's going to latch just from the sheer weight of the plane onto the gear system. Very nice design. So we talked about that a little bit, and then we started talking about placement of the avionics, which is your choice. I mean, you're going to help design this thing and going to lay it out. I'm sure they've got some software that helps lay it out. And so we started talking about that a little bit. And I'm probably going to put the GTN 650 up high in the center stack and right below it the autopilot. So they're both in my line of sight, looking out the windshield. And that's the way I like it. I don't want to have to look down to change frequencies or enter approaches or engage the autopilot. So that's going to be nice. And then I'll just put all the various switches and gauges and other things that are needed below all that. I should have plenty of room. And of course the dual G3X, I'm getting it loaded up. It's going to have a full IFR panel with redundancy, battery backup on each display, dual ARs, the works. So I'm excited. If I can get them to get me a delivery time, we'll be good.
Yeah. It's not labeled on here, but this is the gear box, like for deploying it. So so here's flaps, for example.
Okay.
So this guy's got it super set up. Gear on the left, flaps on the right.
Right.
Here's gear on the left. Most of them, most of them have a pretty standard in the same spot. There's some custom ones, but yeah, like this guy has the gear in the center. And he has manual electric flaps right below it. So it'll depend on your
I don't like that
position.
setup.
So it can be wherever you want it.
Okay, great. I like one up and one down.
Yeah. You can see it physically.
Yeah.
The blue airplane will do. Or maybe we can move to the red airplane that goes to USA.
Okay.
Here 650 WG3X. Ahoj.
Hello.
Tak návrh kule. Od Airmaster. It's removed.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, the panels will be in that room that we were in.
Yeah.
A teď už měl lítat, ne?
That's the 4-blade and that's the 3-blade.
Yeah, this is Airmaster 4-blade. This is the 3-blade.
Now, do you do Airmaster?
Standard. It's probably custom.
I mean, what do you think of the Airmaster?
Duke. Go ahead.
Go with
yeah,
Duke.
keep Duke, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, you're not gonna like this setup. He's got the gear in the center, and flaps right below it.
Yeah.
But so if you look at the one next door, you have the gear above the G3X, and then he has manual flaps. I prefer the gear up here. I think it looks a little bit nicer.
Yeah, I like it up there too.
And it allows for like an autopilot controller or some extra avionics in the center.
Right.
So I think this is the more usual setup, but it's customer's choice, so they can move it around and where they like it the best.
Right. Can you put a GPS up here?
GPS, like which, like what kind?
I think I'm going to go with the not the 650, but the one that has radio and ADSB, the 375.
Yeah, 375, no problem.
Okay.
So typical setup is the autopilot controllers up top, and then you have it below. But again, it will just depend on how you want it.
Yeah.
I like the autopilot closer to the top, and then everything below it.
Okay.
Because it just feels a little bit like easier in turbulence. You'll put your hand here, and then you can dial and do your headings. Or
He's right.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Now, in my setup, I had to tell the G3X that the GPS was running everything, so I couldn't do flight plan changes on the G3X. It wouldn't talk back to the.
Well, so this has an internal GPS.
Right, I know that.
Yeah, so you can select which one you want it to use.
Right.
So if you're using, does the 375 have a screen? I don't know how he got into the situation, but he had some like students visiting from Africa or something like this. The guy's never flew, and his canopy open.
Oh.
And he had no autopilot in the plane because it was with German registration. They're not allowed to have autopilot.
Oh.
Really?
It's stupid. It's stupid. But so
Safety.
he couldn't. He had a child next door, and he tried to fly the plane and close the canopy, and he couldn't do it. So he decided to deploy the chute. He made the right decision, and everything. And he told me, like, the kid wasn't scared at all, like, the entire time. He enjoyed it.
I break your airplane, so thank you, sir. Nice
So
experience.
then they were for, I think, 3 or 4 hours in the trees waiting for fire rescue. So yeah, and he said a jogger ran by, and they like yelled at the jogger to like call for help. But
Really? Oh my.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's Klaus.
Hey, you're fat. What's going on here?
What? So you think the 4-blade looks cooler?
You tell me. The 4-blade's there. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
The US we don't want wood pump in the US, so this is the base. If you want best performance, then ignore the wood comms. Wood comms no good for the US. If you want best performance, take the 3-blade. The 4-blade looks cool, but the biggest advantage of the 4-blade is. Oh, you're holding it. Are you holding it? I don't want to rotate it. I think it might be.
I've been holding it.
I don't know.
Climb, ground clearance.
Yeah, ground clearance and climb.
Yeah.
You have your own strip, or you're flying?
No,
on
I'm out flying it, but there are a lot of rocks where the hangars are.
Okay, and so how much distance is on the runway? 5,000 feet, 4,000 feet?
Yeah, flying. I probably got 7,000.
Okay.
You need like
you
400.
don't. You don't need this. So so 3-blade, you're gonna have the better
Duke,
top end.
3-blade
speed.
Duke.
Yeah.
You think so?
Dude, because the Woodcomb has a really shitty service in US.
Or
Okay.
even what we could maybe depends on. I don't know what the scheduled delivery you are, so it depends on the timing. But there's we have a Sentinage prop here.
Okay.
Sentinage is from the U.S.
Yeah.
They have a good base in Florida.
Right.
Also for support. This
I
could
live in
also
Florida.
be
So
oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Which
I'm
part?
Pensacola.
Pensacola. Okay, I'm from Tampa. So,
Okay. There you go.
I know the.
I was just in Tampa.
Yeah?
VDF. I busted some airspace.
Okay. Where did I'm sorry. Here it is.
Yeah.
But he's got a 4-blade on here, so they let me know the name. But Sentinage makes a 3-blade for the.
Yeah, I had it.
915.
I had a Technoma Story.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I had the sensors
Okay.
with the Airmaster prop. on
Okay,
it.
so perfect. So this is exactly it. So the
Right.
Sentinage makes the blades, I think, but Airmaster rebrands
Exactly.
them or
We'll
whatever.
specify the 3-blade Duke, and during those almost 2 years, if
Something new comes.
something happens.
Man, you're going to speed it up though.
Oh, we'll try.
We've already
We are
sped up.
Yeah, we are speeding up every day.
You're going to find somebody that bailed out.
or else, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Sentinage or Duke is probably. Duke also has a base in Florida. They
Yeah.
have it in
That's fine.
Sebring.
But that's hydraulic, not electronic, right?
Yeah. And the hydraulic on the 915. We at the moment this is the first electric prop
Right.
on the 915. Otherwise, you always use the hydraulic
Right.
because it's quicker and for reaction.
Really?
With the electric
There's
one.
separate motors on the electric props.
Yeah.
Those small electric props have a small separate motors, and sometimes they have a hard time keeping up with the torque.
I always had a hard time getting it set just right because I would get like a yellow flashing light.
Okay.
Another option would be full FADEC.
Yeah.
That's actually. Hi, ciao. Já se prohýbám. Dýchám do bránice.
Jim is, I think, actually sitting. He's working.
We
in my
met him.
office. Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, we met him. And he's gonna have the MT prop full FADEC system on the 915. Let's see how these things
Let's see how
turns
they work.
out,
Okay,
and we
yeah.
can always change
Change it, yeah.
That's the smallest thing. The
Yeah, you
propeller
can
is
go
not
full
big.
feather. That's kind of nice. Yeah, with this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to soar in the clouds and glide.
No, I need to stretch the landing.
No, but that's the crazy thing about the VL3. You have so much energy and so much, little weight. If you have an engine failure in altitude, right, you can actually pull up and gain 2,000 feet before.
Yeah, I saw that video where the guy had the engine failure. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
No, that was a real one. He was in the Alps.
Olivier.
The 912.
Yeah.
It was a ULS, but
Lisa was flying.
she had the IS.
Yeah.
But his plane had a couple, 1,500 hours, I think, or 1,300 hours on it. And they said it was the one of the rocker springs or whatever,
Right.
sprung and locked up. So, but this guy's a really, really good pilot.
This is the.
He had a long glide out of that.
Yep.
This is gonna be the LSA in California, the gray one.
Oh, okay.
But
Under the new rules?
current.
Or existing? How do you stop it at 129?
So it's gonna have different wings. I saw the wings; they look really good.
Oh yeah.
They're here. This one.
Okay.
So you see they have wingtips as well. They're wider, so
Okay.
they're a bit heavier.
It's a shame to do that to an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the factory. Now we're headed to the airport for the flight test. So we'll see you in part 3.